Welcome back, everyone. Here we have another one of those really potent poems from Beverly Gordon. This one's called A Devil Without a Veil.
Mhm.
And this isn't just, pretty words. It feels like raw source material, really documenting this intense emotional crisis and, crucially, the strategy someone found to get out of it.
Yeah.
It's all about conflict, hate, and somehow finding freedom
It's
inside.
exactly. And that somehow is what we really want to dig into for you today. This deep dive is focused on pulling out the practical message, the life application from this, well, very intense narrative.
Right.
If the speaker starts by basically declaring war internally, how do they actually get to peace? We're looking for that mechanism. How does someone move from saying, I love to hate you, to actually feeling free?
It sounds like quite the journey. So we'll start right in the heat of that conflict. Then we'll take a look at the adversary she describes, and then really focus on that internal aha moment, that pivot that leads to resolution. Okay, let's get into it. So the poem doesn't ease you in at all. It just throws you right into the deep end.
Yeah.
This declaration of conflict, but it's immediately complicated, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
We get this explosive opening. Have I told you how much I love to hate you? And then, almost like whiplash, have I told you how much I don't care?
That contradiction is so telling, I think. When someone says they love to hate, it often suggests they're getting something out of the conflict itself, right?
Like power.
Yeah, maybe power, maybe identity. They're so invested that the antagonism itself is like fueling them, even while they're trying to claim they don't care. So the opening isn't really just about the other person.
It's about the speaker's own internal state.
Exactly. It's about this maybe toxic dependency on the drama.
And you see where that comes from because there's this deep sense of disappointment revealed. The speaker realizes the whole situation was
Well,
wrong from the start.
yeah, you are not the answer I wanted. I need to shuffle those dice again. That line, shuffle those dice again, that's powerful. It's like admitting a huge miscalculation. They put their emotional chips down and it just didn't pay off.
Right, a bad bet.
A really bad bet. And they realize they can't fix this game. They have to just walk away and start fresh. The frustration isn't just the other person anymore. It's the lost time, the lost hope.
And that frustration, that feeling of a bad investment, it just builds, doesn't it? This internal pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
It's described as building up inside me, so I turn and walk away.
Yeah, trying to use physical distance to manage something that's exploding inside. But it's not really peace, is it? The poem calls it the calm before the storm,
Ah,
which leads straight to that declaration. War has been declared. So the choice is made. Engage. Fully. Emotionally, anyway.
but then, almost immediately, you see how desperate that feels. The very next thought is closing her eyes, hoping you will disappear.
It really highlights that first instinct, doesn't it? Denial. Or maybe magical thinking. Just wishing the problem away because dealing with it feels too hard.
Yeah, we've all been there.
But of course, the problem doesn't just disappear. The external source of conflict, it's still there until the speaker changes their reaction. And to do that, they need to really understand what or who they're up against.
Okay, so that brings us to defining this adversary, and the description is pretty stark. A devil without a veil, standing proud, feeling untouchable.
The without a veil part is key, I think. It means the malice isn't hidden, it's transparent, there's no pretense, just cold intent right out in the open.
And your eyes show no mercy, just reinforces that coldness.
Exactly. This isn't someone subtly manipulating. It's someone who doesn't need a disguise for their harshness.
But just being cruel isn't quite enough, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
The adversary tries to puff themselves up, claim some kind of mythical status.
Right. Presenting themselves as the mystical bird, the phoenix, untouchable, appearing and then disappearing.
What's that about?
Well, it's an attempt to establish psychological dominance, isn't it? By claiming to be invincible, maybe unpredictable, like they operate on a different plane, it makes them seem more powerful, harder to fight.
I see.
And you see this tactic sometimes, maybe less dramatically, but in conflicts where people sort of mythologize their opponent, they turn a regular person into this unstoppable force, this dark phoenix. And believing that, that's what keeps the speaker trapped.
And the adversary plays into it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
The speaker mentions the smirk on your face as your eyes try to say, this battle is yours to win.
Oh, yeah. That smirk is pure manipulation. It's bait.
Bait.
Yeah, it's like saying, go on, hate me, I dare you, waste all your energy trying to fight me.
It's an invitation to join their game. on their terms.
Right.
And if the speaker takes that bait,
Then the adversary keeps control. Exactly. The real battle isn't about winning against them. It's about whether the speaker even chooses to play that exhausting, draining game.
okay, but here's where things start to shift, right? This is where we get that practical insight because the speaker just deflates that power.
Completely. With one simple realization. But you forget the word mystical. That is all a phoenix is.
Wow.
Isn't that brilliant? It just reduces that whole untouchable, powerful persona down to a story, a myth. A phoenix isn't real.
Right. It's just a concept.
Exactly. So that perceived invincibility, the appearing and disappearing, it's all just theater. The power the adversary seems to have is entirely fictional. It only exists because the person being hurt believes in it.
Realizing the antagonist is just smoke and mirrors, that's the bridge then to the poem's core message.
That's the turning point. Absolutely. Because right after that realization, the focus snaps inward. The speaker starts talking about the cost of staying in that fight.
Yeah, the physical toll. That line about hate being a burden is so clear. Hate is like a heavy stone pressing against my head.
It takes it from just an idea, an emotion, to something physical, something debilitating. You can picture it, right? Trying to walk around with a heavy stone on your head.
You can't move forward.
You really can't. So the hate that she maybe loved at the start, that gave her that rush, now it's just crushing her. It shows the true cost of holding on to that toxic energy.
And that feeling leads directly to the main takeaway, the big revelation we were looking for. The simple, profound truth. The hate I feel, I'm only hurting myself.
Boom. That's the moment of clarity. The adversary, they're probably just going about their day. Meanwhile, the speaker is the one carrying the stone, feeling the poison. The pain is entirely self-inflicted, self-sustained.
It's like that saying, isn't it? Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Precisely. You're doing all the work, carrying all the weight, and you're the only one getting hurt. Think about it in, like, modern terms. Constantly checking someone's social media who hurt you, replaying arguments over and over.
Yeah, telling the story of the grudge until it becomes part of who you are.
You are doing all the labor, you get all the damage. Realizing that is step one to freedom.
And the poem gives another reason to stop the hate, which feels even more urgent. It's about preserving yourself, your character.
Yes, the speaker understands. For if I play out the hate, I will become not like you, but you.
That's chilling.
It really is. Because the goal shifts. It's not just about feeling better anymore. It's about avoiding becoming the very thing you despise. If you engage in that same ugliness, the same tactics,
You lose yourself.
you become indistinguishable from them. You might win the fight, but you've sacrificed your own integrity, your own
Yeah,
grace. Was it worth it?
probably not.
So that realization that holding on to your own character is the real high ground that fuels the final strategy. The decision to avoid the mindset games and your unscrupulous ways.
So stop playing their game.
Stop playing their game. The fight becomes internal. Protect your own peace, your own values.
Okay, so once that decision's made, the path to freedom seems to open up. And it involves a really specific choice, a replacement. She says, I will erase the hate and pity you instead. Pity, though, that sounds, I don't know, a bit weak. Especially if this adversary is so cold and merciless. Doesn't pity feel like letting them win or just avoiding the issue?
That's a really good question, and I think it's easy to misinterpret pity here. It's not pity like, oh, you poor thing, in a condescending or weak way.
Okay.
Think of it more as pity meaning distance, strategic detachment. It's looking at the adversary and seeing their flaws, maybe their own brokenness, the fact they need to be cruel to feel strong, but seeing it from a place of emotional safety.
Like looking down from a balcony, not fighting in the street.
Exactly. You acknowledge their condition, maybe even feel a twinge of sadness for it, but you don't let it touch you. You don't let it pull you back into the mud. It's actually incredibly self-protective. It says, your issues are yours. They don't get to become mine.
Okay, that makes more sense.
What?
Pity as a shield, almost.
A shield, or maybe just perspective. And the reason that detachment is so vital is captured beautifully in that anchor analogy. The speaker needs to lift the hate that weighs me down, like an anchor holding a ship from floating free.
Right, the weight again.
But it's more than weight here, isn't it? An anchor doesn't just weigh you down, it stops you from moving.
It keeps you stuck.
Keeps you stuck in the same place. Hate, resentment, they anchor you to the past, to the conflict. You can't sail on to new things, new experiences, new joy, if you're anchored to that old hurt.
So lifting the anchor, choosing pity, choosing release, that's choosing to move forward.
It's choosing self-mobility, progress, life.
So the ultimate victory, the real success in this poem, It isn't about getting revenge or seeing the devil punished, is it?
Not at all. It's entirely internal. It's about the speaker's own forward movement, their own state of being. The final image is looking ahead, rising above the impossible, with smile and grace.
Smile and grace, not bitterness and anger.
Right. The adversary wanted to fight down in the dirt, fueled by hatred. The speaker simply refused the invitation and chose to ascend, to keep their dignity, their lightness. That quiet internal success renders the whole conflict irrelevant.
They proved the adversary's power was borrowed, essentially. Borrowed from the speaker's own reaction.
Precisely. The only real power the antagonist ever held was the power the speaker gave them by engaging with the hate.
So, looking back at this whole deep dive, it really maps out a profound and probably painful journey. Moving from that really intense, self-harming state that love to hate feeling, the heavy stone, all the way to this deliberate, conscious internal freedom.
Yeah, a freedom built on self-awareness and ultimately grace.
And the practical application for you, the listener.
I think the biggest takeaway is that you often can't win a mindset game by playing it with raw emotion. Sometimes the most powerful move isn't fighting back harder, but choosing detachment, choosing that strategic pity we talked about.
Lifting the anchor.
Lifting the anchor. Deliberately letting go of the resentment because you realize it's only holding you back. Once you truly grasp that the hate hurts you more than anyone else, the fight changes. The real win isn't defeating the other person.
It's mastering your own emotional response.
Exactly. It's victory over the self-destructive feeling the conflict sparked in you.
That choice to lift the anchor of hate and aim for grace instead, definitely something powerful to think about next time you feel caught up in conflict. Here we had another fabulous insight from Beverly. I wonder what will be next.